Previously on Historical Geocaching, I'm visiting the Huron Lightship in Port Huron, Michigan. Most recently, our tour guide has taken us up on deck and explained how the lights, foghorn, and radio room work.
Some people wonder what these are for. Does anybody have an answer?
Is it where the foghorn noise came out of?
No, foghorns come out of the foghorns.
Okay.
Air intake?
Just for catch any breeze. Then it funnels it down into the lower levels. This one goes down. Actually, it goes into a closet. I'm not sure why. I guess it really goes down into the hole all the way to the bottom. That one over there goes into the windlass room and that one there goes down into the bosun's locker, and the great big ones that we walked under go to the engine room. So it's all about fresh air. If you had showed up here this afternoon at like 3:30, 4 o'clock, you'd know why they wanted that, because it would be warm down below. Up on the bow here we have the ship's bell. Normally it would have been up on the mast. We took it down so people could see the actual inscription on it. USLHS 1920. Shows the year that the ship was launched. USLHS stands for United States Lighthouse Service. The Lighthouse Service in 1920 ran all the lighthouses, the tender ships that went to the lighthouses, and the lightships, owned all the lightships. They also ran the life-saving service, which was the life-saving squads that stayed along the edges of the lake and the ocean to go out and for rescue. In the early 20s, they divested the life-saving service and gave it to what at that time was the Revenue Cutter Service. The Revenue Cutter Service dates back to 1790. It was started by Alexander Hamilton, it was the Revenue Cutter Service took on the life-saving service, and they changed the name to the Coast Guard. And in 1939, all of the light ships and the lighthouses were also changed over to Coast Guard. And then in 1941, December, all of the light ships became Navy. And that first winter, while they were thinking about what being at war really meant, a couple of the light ships were sunk, or at least heavily damaged. And they pulled all the light ships off of the oceans, and all of the light ships were already off of the lake. They had been changed out, except for this one. And this one was right up here, and it stayed in service through the war. It's the only light ship that was in service during the war. The reason they have a bell on the ship is the reason that they have a foghorn on here. Basically, was to warn ships where you were in the fog. Of course, they didn't use it unless the foghorns didn't work. And I never read of any incident where the foghorns weren't working, so they didn't use it. But if they did, they would have rung the bell, and it would have been a manual thing too. I mean, you'd ring it. So if the foghorns weren't working, your job would have been to stand up there and ring the bell. 3 times every 30 seconds. Yeah, that would have been a great job. On board ship when it was retired in 1970, they were built in 1934. So 16 years of service, and they were still going strong. Of course, there's 2 stacks because of the redundancy that we have on everything on board. Around the corner there in the camera. You won't know what this looks like until you get home. And there's the timers that time the signal and give the signal from this radio for the radio beacon. It's just amazing to me. 2 stacks of radios, they probably weigh 500 pounds a stack. So, there we go. And that, by all intents and purposes, is what we can figure is probably the 3rd set of radios on this ship. Okay. Last thing to look at on deck here is this runabout. This is what they would have used to run to shore. Pick up groceries, take the guys for their leave, and bring up the other guys coming back. If it was rough weather, there would have been a launch come out from the Coast Guard station for that. The Mercury Mark 75 engine. That's an original Coast Guard engine. This is an original Coast Guard runabout. It's got their tag on the bow. It says U.S. Coast Guard boat 16986. The first two, if you see a Coast Guard boat going down the river, you know, other than a big one of these guys, the numbers on them generally tell you what size the boat is. The first two numbers is the size of the boat. So this is a 16-footer because it's a 16986. They have a 45, I think it's number 45276 up here at the Coast Guard station, so it's a 45-footer. Okay, now we go.